Welcome to our class. English listening practice for 15 minutes. The story of the goose that laid the golden egg. In a quiet village, nestled between two rolling hills, that is Ali Baba and Kashim. Their lives were defined by routine and modesty. Each morning, Elias would rise before the sun. Trudge out to the fields and tend to their small plot of land. Which bore little more than potatoes, onions, and barley. Mara, ever resourceful, kept the house tidy and warm. Cared for their few chickens, and managed the household with the precision of someone who had long since learned how to stretch a coin. Despite their poverty, Elias and Mara were content. They found joy in the simple pleasures of life. A warm stew on cold nights, the laughter of nearby children. And the changing hues of the countryside with each passing season. Their dreams were not grand, they longed only for a better roof before winter. And a pair of new boots for Elias, whose old ones leaked whenever the ground grew muddy. One crisp autumn morning, Elias stumbled upon a peculiar sight behind the chicken coop. A goose larger than any he'd ever seen lay nestled in a patch of teal grass. Its feathers shimmered faintly, almost as if dusted with gold. Surprised, Elias approached it cautiously. The goose didn't startle. It looked up at him with calm, intelligent eyes. Mara, he called out, "Come quick." When she arrived, they stood in silence for a moment, studying the bird. Mara asked, "Where do you think it came from?" "I don't know," Elias replied, "but it seems tame. Look at it, almost regal." With no sign of an owner, they decided to build it a small pen. And feed it along with their chickens. Little did they know, their lives were about to change forever. The next morning, as Elias went to feed the animals, he found something incredible. In the hay of the goose's nesting spot lay an egg made of solid gold. He called Mara over in disbelief. "This must be some trick," she said, eyes wide. Elias shook his head. "It's real." They brought the egg inside, their hearts racing. After some deliberation, they decided to take it to the local goldsmith in the village. The old man examined it closely, tapping it with a tiny hammer. Inspecting it under a magnifying lens. "It's pure," he confirmed at last, his eyes reflecting the golden gleam. "Where did you get it?" Elias and Mara exchanged a glance, but said nothing. They left the shop with a bag full of coins, more than they had seen in years. That night, as they sat by the hearth, with fresh bread, stew, and a bottle of wine, they had never before been able to afford. Mara asked, "Do you think it will happen again?" "I don't know," Elias replied. "But if it does, we'll never be poor again." To their amazement, the goose laid another golden egg, the next day, and the next, and the next. They sold each one quietly, never telling anyone of their source. In a few short months, they had paid off debts. Repaired their roof, and bought Elias new boots and tools. Mara had a new stove and shelves, stocked with food that would last the winter. But it was more than just comfort that came with wealth. It was a new sense of power, of possibility. They no longer had to fear hunger or cold. They hired help for the fields and installed glass windows in their house. The only ones in the village to have them. Their neighbors noticed the change. Rumors began to circulate. Some thought Elias had found buried treasure. Others whispered of secret inheritances. Elias and Mara said little. It was easier to let people guess than to reveal the truth. But with each passing week, a new feeling began to stir in Elias. A gnawing, insatiable curiosity. It began, innocently enough. Elias started counting the days. The eggs, calculating their growing wealth. He began to imagine what they could do with more, perhaps buy more land. Expand the house, or even build an inn by the road, and become respected townsfolk. If we had 10 eggs a day, he mused aloud one evening. We could build a mill, maybe even employ dozens of people. Mara looked at him, concerned. We have everything we need. Because we could, Mara. Think of what we could become. The goose, meanwhile, continued to lay its single golden egg each morning without fail. Its temperament was docile, and it seemed to expect little in return. Just food, water, and the occasional gentle stroke on its back. But the thoughts in Elias's mind grew louder. He began to see the goose, not as a miracle, but as a means, a resource to be tapped. He started to believe that the goose didn't merely lay golden eggs. But somehow produced gold, and that within it, perhaps, lay a limitless supply. One sleepless night, Elias sat at the table, the golden egg, from that morning, gleaming in the candlelight. He turned it over in his hands, pondering the mystery of it. Why one egg a day? Thank you for watching.